mountain is the bottom of another. The top of every mountain is the bottom of another. Run for cover, you discover some will thrive and others suffer. Cause the top of every mountain is the bottom of another. Woo! Don't wait, don't hesitate. Better speak the truth, let it resonate and let it detonate and get blown away. Till you keep on rising to a higher place. Can't stop, won't stop, don't stop coming till we hit the top. Gotta keep pushing till the day I make it. Since they won't give it to me, then I got to take it. The pain today is power tomorrow. Keep on coming, but you'll never catch me running. Cause I won't bow down. No matter what they say, I wouldn't do it any other way. Keep on coming, but you'll never catch me running. Cause I won't bow down. Top of every mountain is the bottom of another. The top of every mountain is the bottom of another. Not enough, they keep us smothered. Lower class, never the upper. Cause the top of every mountain is the bottom of.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squad. This is your Commander Wotan. I'm your werewolf. Tonight we are talking about books and reading and storytelling. More storytelling. Usually the usual. Forgive my wife, everybody. That's right. We're talking about storytelling like we always do. It's basically a regurgitation at this point, as per our second in command. I'm here with the Warlight Final Fantasy fan.
Greetings, YouTube viewers and my fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Spacey War Squadron. And today, we are back with another episode of The Real Millennials, this time talking about literature. That is the art of storytelling within literature.
I think you're in the wrong profession, dude. You need to get into some journalism. You got the voice for it. You need to switch careers, my friend. Trust me. We have one of our writers, the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty, and I write things.
The humblest of Marty's humble writer. Wait, didn't I make that joke before?
I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, I did. But I can't remember when though.
Since when you start speaking Pajit?
What?
You heard me.
I am not allowing you to wipe my kitty's douches.
So I'm guessing what Dom has prepared for us, or what Dom had planned for us, rather, was for us to talk about storytelling in all our forms, all of our youth. What stories we read, what storytelling did we like the most. And he can't speak apparently because he's around family.
Yep, he's having dinner with his family. So, in
Got
place of him,
business like that.
so in his place, I will provide some of his chats for him, saying, "Quote: Good evening, everyone. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic Pell, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Real Millennials on books and the art of storytelling." End quote.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with the books then. Kind of books we read that kind of got us interested in storytelling. All these impacted us in a way due to the storytelling. We'll start with Humble.
Xanth series, lots of mystery books, whatever I saw off of Wishbone on TV. There was also, well, I also bought books from the library when they did their library sale.
Oh, those were great.
Yep. And a few of the novelizations of movies.
some novelization, some novelizations were better than the movies themselves, especially the Page Master. My my favorite novelization was the Page Master. That's only because they were able to add some stuff that the movie kind of it's not necessarily
Scammed.
it's not that it's skimmed. It's the fact that it moved at breakneck speed. So like there was never a I think the only one that they spent the most time in was Adventure, and even then that one was kind of sped up. Like when when uh when Richard and the books go through horror, they just go through it real fast, and they just transition to Adventure right then and there. And fantasy is more of a when they go through fantasy, it's pretty much a traveling montage
Mm.
at that point. It's like they don't even settle through with it. I mean, there's spots where they pause and really it was just to show off the animation, which was pretty good.
Hmm.
All fronts. It was pretty much the animation technical, but the novelization really though I vaguely remember everything that happens in the novelization. I I remember liking the novelization a lot better. They met Frankenstein in the horror section.
Mm.
Excuse me, y'all. You had a
Okay.
look about Leia plus size.
Hooray!
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for being late, but I was in another stream and we didn't too long to end. And then I had to take care of some other business. And so I just not too long got your message that you were doing something this evening.
Oh, were there fish in the other stream?
That's a good one, Humble. No, that's a good one, but no, not no. And our topic is books.
The
And
art,
storytelling.
yeah, and storytelling. Basically, we're just talking literature in general.
Okay. Well, I just arrived in, so if you started, you could continue.
Any more things you want to say, Humble?
Mm, still keep reading books every now and again.
Final.
Okay, I'll admit my office. I still have a ton of books and stuff scattered across my desk.
Humble that has an office.
Yeah.
I thought you had a studio.
I kind of keep the studio and office separate, or otherwise they will try to take over, like a yarn stash that has decided to gel in someone's closet.
How do you make that work exactly? Sounds like you got your own place. You know what? That's a whole conversation off screen. Go ahead, Final. What books interest you? What kind of storytelling gripped you?
As far as I can remember, back in my middle school days when I was actually reading a lot more, the earliest one that I've read was Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Mainly because I was at the phase in my life where I was a bit more into like a bit more darker stories at that time, because the ones that I've read at that time were the aforementioned Jekyll and Hyde and Death Note, which is how I got into anime and manga. That was my gateway into that anyway. And then but as far back as like early when I started reading something was there was one DC comic where there used to be this one thing that Serials used to do that DC actually did collab with Serials, and there's actually a mini comic inside one of them, and one of those Justice League comics was there's a duplicate Justice League where they're all androids, and one of the Justice League members, I think was Aquaman, actually got hurt by a doppelganger Flash, and then that's at least as far as I can vaguely remember. But in terms of other stuff that I did get into by that time, even going back to middle school stuff, were some of the comics, and that's when I got into finding more comic books to read, specifically with some of the Marvel and DC stuff. And that's as far as I could go from there.
Leia?
Oh, okay. I was waiting for everybody to go. Okay, so you're asking us what our favorite. Well, when I was a wee little lass, I loved fantasy and science fiction. I loved reading. The first book I ever picked up and read was Alice in Wonderland, because I love fantasy, I love science fiction, Isaac Asimov, all those kinds of novels, and of course, The Lord of the Rings, which was given to me as a gift from a teacher who knew I loved to read. I was a big reader. That's why, with Beauty and the Beast, I when you guys first met me, I said I could read Bill, because I never failed to have a book in my hand when I was young. And when I was old enough to get my library card, I was always at the library, trying to find books to read, because I had a big imagination and I love to read stories, and fantasy was my favorite. So we're talking Tolkien, and we're talking science fiction. I said that already. And we're talking fantasy, the Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe, all those stories, all those books I read. And then as I got older and mature, of course, and these are the last books that I read, of course, was Anne Rice. Huge Anne Rice fan, of course, her Vampire Chronicles. And I read all of her Vampire Chronicle novels. So I was a big fan of hers. Lately, I have not read, I haven't found any really good book to read so far right now. But my early years of literature, those were my number one novels. I was a big fantasy person. And like I said, big Anne Rice fan, and because I love the fact that when she started coming onto the scene, we finally had a new type of vampire novel and lore besides just Dracula, and so I was really excited about that. But the novel's really good, and read all of them. So that's my book journey so far. And sometimes it's cool. I also read novelizations of my favorite films. Like I read the novelization of The Empire Strikes Back, novelization of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because when I was growing up back in that time, we had like the Bookmobile or the book club, and they would come in there and they had the catalog of all the books that were in there. And then I would mark off everything that I wanted to read. And then I saw in there was going to be a novelization of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I told a friend of mine that was in there, let me know when that comes in, when the book club. And I saved up my allowance. And I said, because I want the novelization of that movie, because I was, like everybody else, so blown away by Raiders. I wanted everything that had to do with that. So that's my story right there. I am not about biographies. I'm not about, I am pure escapism fiction reader. So that's me.
I guess Don will just type in his response.
But in the meantime, what's it with you, Wolf?
All over the place with me when it comes down to reading. It was very bear with me, guys.
Sure.
So it ranged from just children's storytelling, from your bog standard fairy tales here and there, whatever was presented to me at the time. I would just instantly eat up any version of it, like say Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, and there were retellings within the literature books that they would present us in elementary school. So I was I was leveling and leveling through each reads of books. Um, Usually, my storytelling that interested me was overcoming obstacles and bullies, so to speak, good versus evil. From when it came out of the Greek mythology, there was Theseus and the Minotaur, um, the story of the Griffin, the just popped in. Nobody. That stream you're fucking up. Let me continue. And sometimes there were some adventure ones too.
Hmm.
I would. It was thanks to the Page Masters what really broadened my horizons on what to do. Because at the time, while I was still reading like children's fiction, or at least one of those those little Golden Bear books versions of animated movies and the like, I was also reading educational books, mainly dinosaur books. So I was I've always told you guys time and time again that I wanted to get into archaeology and paleontology. So I would scoop up any dinosaur book that I would get my hands on. Sometimes look at the pictures though, just to look at the pictures. Though I did read some of them, mind you.
I remembered I remembered a lot of Greek mythology books liked it, but mostly for the monster designs.
Clash of the Titans was the one movie that introduced me to the Perseus story.
Hmm.
That was my top favorite. The American miniseries to Journey to the West, or at least the one story where they follow the scholar who's traveling through the entire world of the Jade Emperor to recover Arthur Wu's manuscript of Journey to the West, along with the Monkey King and his pals. Got me into the Monkey King, though before that it was Monkey Magic, and of course before that was Dragon Ball.
Nice.
Without me knowing it at the time, mind you. But as far as storytelling is concerned, yeah, it was always about the ones that gripped me the most was always the overcoming obstacles, defeating the bad guy, be the hero, save the world, or save the girl.
Hmm.
And there was very few times where I do get into horror, like Herschel and the Hanukkah goblins, though that was more spiritual and festive because it's centered around Hanukkah mostly. The depiction of the goblins were very horrific, and it did give us that atmospheric horror vibe, especially the final goblin that shows up. I remember the picture of it as clear as day. It was like this specter or the visage of the devil himself that came a knocking at your door. I remember being haunted by that a little bit. I also remember reading the Disney's Adventure magazine books with their promotion of comics mostly. Didn't really care about the articles. I was only hoping my mom would buy some of those just to read whatever comic they put in there.
Huh.
And usually it was a comic version of one of the movies that came out. Like they would have like a comic skip depicting the movie Pocahontas, or
they had that Choose Your Own Adventure comic of Disney's Atlantis.
they had that. I don't remember. I do remember.
Disney Adventure magazine was always at the checkout lanes.
Mhm. I do remember Timon and Pumbaa having their own little side adventure stories back when the Lion King Timon and Pumbaa was out.
Oh, they had this one really good comic, and it was for Pixar's film, I think The Incredibles.
Hmm.
And the dad was still working at this shady insurance company, and he ends up doing all these heroic things while screwing up. It was like watching the dad bod version of One Punch Man with hair. Like he accidentally hit the gas too hard. By goes the floor. He's like, "Well, I guess I'm walking to work," and he just drives the car like a Flintstone mobile.
There was also the Pirates one where it's not really following the movie per se. It's depicting a story that's happening somewhere in the middle of the first movie, or somewhere like at the tail end of the first movie. I don't know. I don't recall. I don't remember what was going on with that thing, but I just remember that it had nothing to do with the movie proper, the movie that came out proper. Just like a little side quest that they were doing. Both Will, Elizabeth, and Jack Sparrow Captain Jack Sparrow were doing. That he got those two involved, mind you. But yes, as far as the storytelling is concerned, that's what was shaping my my viewpoints or shaping my attitudes towards the world at times.
Hmm.
And then I ran into movies and the like, and learning the storytelling behind those, or at least the storytelling that was being told visually. But we're going to be still focusing on books and the like. Like Final and like Dom, however, I did find my way to the manga. I don't know what was my first manga per se. It might have been Pokemon, actually.
Hmm.
I think it was the more violent one, because I recall reading one of them, and it was the one where they were in the graveyard, and zombie Pokemon started walking, and I remember Arbok dissolving one with its acid. I was like, son of a bitch, what the fuck? That's crazy. And ever since that, I was tracking down like volumes of Pokemon just to see how fucked up it can possibly get. I do remember reading the Electric Pikachu tale manga that I don't think that one ever spawned any more volumes further than that. It's the one where Red looks way more like Ash than Red does in the actual story. The other story. Because the one that you follow in the in the Pokemon manga, he's got a shader tone of skin tone than Ash in the cartoon. Then there's the tale of Pikachu, which is
Dom
this.
called himself.
The fat yellow electric rat.
Mm-hmm. No, the thing is, in that one, he's actually called Ash in that one, and not Red. But what I do recall was the fact that he was made to look just like Ash in the cartoon, but he was a lot paler. whereas Red is more in line. Well, he's not even in line with the video game character representation of the video game. He was very different.
That's true.
But if you ask anybody who read the Pokemon manga, well, they'll always tell you that Red's better than Ash from the cartoon. Even though Red's a bit more arrogant and sometimes ignorant, but he has charm and he has quality.
I think
Plus
they
he-
both had their unique charm.
He also has a better roster than Ash does. In fact, his roster actually reflects a anybody who's playing the game for the first time. Because he has an Ivysaur, and he does have Pikachu, but he also has some other Pokemon that are absolutely not Ash's starter or Ash's Pokemon roster in the Indigo League art. So if I recall, he had Ivysaur, Pikachu, and Nidoran. I believe he had Nidoran female or male, but I think he predominantly had Nidoran female. No, he actually had he had a Rhyhorn actually. That's what he had. He had a Rhyhorn. I was like, damn, that is a badass roster. And this is like the first two volumes. The first two volumes, and he got this comparative to Ash. It's like, Jesus.
To be fair, I think Ash got the underdog treatment, and all I remembered, I read the novelization of it, and oh gosh, they actually added more to Pikachu roasting Ash because he was being stupid.
Thing is, Red's an underdog too. He's just way more badass about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not to say if I recall, I don't think he always won every battle that he was in, but I do recall that for time he was pretty much racking up achievements compared to Ash. In fact, as a matter of fact, Ash is pretty much, you can pretty much say his whole thing is, you might as well just view him in a whole different universe, separate to the manga.
True.
Because everybody does show up in the manga, both Red, Gold, pretty much every trainer of every generation is pretty much sharing the same universe in the manga.
Isn't that manga the same one where Ash's mom was a former Team Rocket goon?
I wouldn't know. I didn't read that far. I wouldn't know. I just know that Sabrina was hot in that one.
Oh, nice.
And not like a troubled teenager. She was actually more of a she was actually a teacher. She was actually drawn to look like a teacher. It was I do also recall that it was also a manga that had a lot of controversy surrounding it too.
Oh, which series?
The original. It's the one.
Oh, I'll double check. Are you talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch or a different Sabrina?
No, Sabrina from Pokemon.
Oh, that's Sabrina.
Yeah, she was featured. She was in the manga series where there was a lot of controversy surrounding it. When it's centered around Misty.
Oh, jeez. Is it what is the controversy of what I think it is?
if we are great minds thinking just alike, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Um,
Well, okay, but for those who don't know, you might as well explain Wolf.
So I believe in one of the manga volumes where he first meets Misty. There's a scene depicting her diving, but she's in quite a revealing bikini outfit, and apparently she's supposed to be 14 in those volumes.
makes sense.
So that's where the controversy is: the fact that that she was wearing such such clothing at such an age that it was controversial to the point where the controversy was surrounding whether they couldn't decide on how to draw her age and her maturity.
What type
Yeah,
of
it's
bikini did she wear?
Oh, those one that look like they have a diamond shape in the center where your navel will be.
Oh, wait, that's mild.
The navel gazing bikini.
That's actually quite mild.
yeah, very mild, and it's also not out of the realm of disbelief. We like where girls like go through like early puberty.
In fact, there is a lot worse you can stick a minor in.
Uh huh.
And if I go through what the outfits would probably look like, I think the stream would get banned.
Go ahead.
As well as well, you mentioned earlier, with Wolf explaining what type of bikini like Misty was wearing, like in the source material. It's mild and not really risque.
I mean, it was so risque that it was kind of risque to the point where they did have versions where they altered the outfit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember like seeing those alterations.
But we're not going to be too fixated on that.
Yeah, let's fixate on books.
because it'll just get even stupider as this just continues.
No, it's just going to exist to piss you off.
Hey,
The last thing we need
well,
is for you to get pissed off with that Irish blood in you.
yeah, well, I say like even like back then, like during our generation, like the censorship and political correctness, like wasn't as bad as it had gotten as later on, which it will be touched on later because it does concern certain like books and how the art of storytelling has been affected.
That's more debatable on the political correctness side, but that's another thing.
I do recall another. I do. I did mention before we even did a whole manga study over it. I also remember running into
Pardon?
enjoying that for the first read, even though at the time I didn't understand what was going on. But that's only because at that time my dumb ass didn't know how to read manga correctly.
Didn't they have the little guide in the back?
Some of them did, like Dragon Ball, Rama.
Well, that was shown like
Bandits.
through Viz Media, new Viz Media, Shoujo Beats, and Tokyo Pop, where they teach people on how to read manga. They including like
Which
keeping like
is
the like
kind
keeping
of
like
silly
keeping
on my part because, which is kind of silly on my part because Domu actually read the American way,
Oh,
the same as shockingly enough, the same as another manga studies that we covered, Akira.
huh.
Those were one of the rare mangas that actually read American style. whereas any manga that you came across will read, Japan style. So I had no problem. Though,
Right to left instead of the left to right.
yeah, though in later years, during high school, I was reading Lord of the Rings, but that's only because that was required reading. Then my teacher got us hooked on Shakespeare, which is also required reading, which is fun because these that well, we're talking about reading. We need to be talking about enjoying reading. I'm not even going to get distracted by the nonsense. Shakespeare was
Right.
required reading, but the only problem with our school was the fact that we were only reading Othello and Romeo and Juliet. There was
Wait, they
never
didn't even
meant.
get to read the one where a bunch of fairies just screwed up a love triangle with a love potion.
Nope, not even Macbeth. I don't know why.
We have to
I
read a
don't
little
know.
Shakespeare. Oh, I'm sorry.
don't-
Go ahead.
Well,
I don't
that
know
was a
at what
different
point
one though. I think it was called Puck.
it was, but no. What I'm saying is, I don't know at what point where we started to decline in our academics, as far as like what the curriculum was going to be in the near future, in the far future. Excuse me, not near future, far future. I'm getting tired, guys. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like I've taken my meds and I haven't taken my meds. I'll power through. Bear with me, guys. So, the Lord of the Rings. We didn't really get. I don't ever think we ever read Harry Potter. Harry Potter wasn't big at that time yet. By the time Harry Potter was supplied in the school libraries, I was already out of high school. I don't recall when I first saw the first movie of Harry Potter, though, or what age I was when I first watched it, though.
Harry Potter was big thing with everything except like outside of my junior high. But he earned a school nickname. He was called Harry Palms.
I think I remember hearing that before.
The funniest thing I remember is the one guy they all lusted after was Legolas from the Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh yeah, Legolas always got the bitches,
Oh, come on.
even though he was sexless.
Oh, I like Legolas.
I didn't say it was I didn't say he was a bad character. I'm just
Oh,
stating
it
the fact.
gets
He got all the
it
bitches.
gets
Even though he was
best.
sexless.
Oh, it gets better. One of our top artists in art class had a picture of him completely naked.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
he always.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Okay.
High
Oh,
school
You
checks
know,
out.
the nice six-pack abs, might been lean muscled, but very manly physique.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just discovered him while you're in the bath and he's happy to see you.
I remember there being slash fic between him and Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Oh God.
oh no! Don't do that.
Too late.
Don't do that. I don't want that image.
late.
Aragorn is Arwen. That's the
late.
love story I like to keep. But
Too late.
each to his own. But
Too late. You're too late to describe that, Leia. It's already been done.
I know. You're not wrong. There was plenty of
You
that. You're not
should
wrong.
have did your part and rein in your horny young girls.
No, I've been through all that, so I don't have a problem with
Not
that.
one gay man I know would draw those characters together. Trust me.
I saw out of it.
Are we sure?
Girl, you have not been around LGBT before it was infamously known LGBT. No, no gay person I know drew slash fic of male characters. They want because you want to know why? Because they want to fuck them themselves. Only girls drew slash fiction.
Hmm.
That's why I don't buy into that whole hiring a gay writer to write gay characters and like fuck off.
I'm
Like,
used to it. That was everywhere at the height of the popularity of the
no,
Lord of the
I'm just
Rings
saying it's like
films. So you're
these
not
days.
wrong.
These days, I'm fine. I'm finding it hard to even buy into that bullshit because
Well, that's because
no gay.
like it's not true. I'm
Oh,
sure like
you
writers like are allowed well to write any characters they like as well as want to like in their own works. Like they don't
And that's
have
a
to
fact, but
match the superficial traits like of those characters.
to be
that's,
fair,
mhm.
it's kind of a given that no matter who or what you are, you will eventually end up having to write just about everything.
My whole thing is, like I said, we know True Blood's written by a gay man, but in truth, hardly any gay man write anything about anything gay related.
So we actually have some gay guys that do really good hetero romance and some straight
Mhm.
ladies that do really good gay romance for books.
That is debatable on the second half of your statement.
Eh. Well, I'm just
Point
throwing it
being,
out there just because.
girls get kicks off of that shit because there's something there's a chemical reaction in their brain that causes them to do that. Say for Leia here and Humble. It's that strange curiosity that women get with the. Well, what would happen? What would it look like if I pair this male character to this male character? Either that, or they just don't want them to be with any other female character. So they pair them up with any male character per se.
Odd.
I think that's the reason why they do it right there. Is that they tend to they only pair the male characters that way because they can't see them with any other female character.
Wait, seriously? Huh.
I can't confirm that.
There's a
That's
lot
my
of stuff
that's
there's
just
a lot
my
of stuff
working
I
theory.
can't confirm either.
I'm saying that's just my working theory from on account of being around women a lot. I mean,
Ah,
granted, I have been around dudes. Don't get it twisted. I've been around with a lot of dudes, okay, and not in that way. But no, of the female interactions that I've been around, right?
mm-hmm.
The way how they talk about dudes, especially male characters, that's where my theory comes in. As like they always want to they always go in wanting to date the male character so badly, and that's why they pair them up with another male character because they can never see a female character, another female character with that male character.
It's just. Mm.
But wait, wouldn't they
Y'all
just
can tell me
make
I'm
like
wrong.
But wouldn't they just
Uh,
also make like a self-insert character or something?
They
yeah, a
do,
lot of.
but that was that what I'm describing to you guys is standard practice.
Mm.
That's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. It's standard practice in them days, especially the high school years. Junior high was I never really picked up on it because
Junior high, it was basically trying to figure things out.
hmm But then, like I said, then again, I've never ran into no girl that liked the same things I liked at that time. Around that area, it was rare that I do.
The high school senior that got me into manga as both a literature and art form had a pair of original characters, and she had a whole backstory for them.
She had time. She had a lot of time on her hands.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I applaud her. And then there was the Zane books.
Never read those.
Trust me, you don't want to.
I'm guessing they're a little crazy.
Mm, they're almost like Tijuana Bibles in book form.
Oh,
And they somehow found their way in my school library, but this I'm not that's not surprised to find the bullshit that's in school libraries these days. I'm not surprised because they allowed Zane to get in our schools. And those girls were wild with those books. And to describe Zane is an Iraq novelist. Okay, let's just throw it out there like this. She's basically an Iraq novelist, and she made a huge career basically writing IKEA books or IKEA sex books specifically geared towards the black community.
oh, the thirst
And
is powerful in the deep pockets.
and not just for blacks, the ghetto blacks mostly. It's mostly market towards the ghetto blacks. And if you read it, you can easily tell. You can easily tell because I tried reading those books. I was like, oh Lord.
You know,
I'm
the
surprised I
closest
can
I'd
be able
ever
to understand what the fuck they're saying.
the closest I'd ever read of a book like that was Blood and Chocolate, which is a werewolf romance,
Mhm.
yet adult. But the better one I liked was one called Tith, and that story starred a changeling. It even had all of the classic fairy tale elements, like the fact that fairies have a very huge sweet tooth, and let's just say this one elf knight had discovered honey. So take your high elf from D&D, sit him in a living room setting after some big battle. He's sort of on the run, and he's discovered you can put honey on bread, and he decides to put it on everything.
Now I did mention horror. I read a few horror books here and there.
Goosebumps?
Oh, definitely Goosebumps. Probably Goosebumps though. I was never able to finish them at the time. I think the only one that I nearly or actually finished was mm,
Some
the,
of
the
R.L.
Muscle
Stein's
Man,
some of R.L. Stein's most interesting books ended on a cliffhanger.
or sometimes a downer ending, or
Oh,
or,
most of the
or,
times a downer ending.
or like what we call for Junji Ito, the page turner shock.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah that's oh yeah definitely I was wow, I can't even get my thoughts straight. Jesus. Excuse me. No, the thing is, at that time, I was, mm, When I heard about Junji, I was really getting into Junji right then and there. I started with Gyo a little bit, and then I got into his Uzumaki book. Was it Uzumaki? It's the one with the spiral. It
That
was
one's
entirely.
Uzumaki.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain is wearing down. But yeah,
Dragon is
I
part
read
of a. Sorry, go on.
I read Uzumaki and I wasn't. I mean, I thought Gyo prepared me for what the hell Junji would throw at me with Uzumaki, but man, I was not ready. I was never ready. Oh boy, that first story was quite the trip, but man, oh man, which one was it that really hit me like real bad? Like made me pause the book for at least about a week.
Let's see, there was
I'm trying to remember.
Undead Yandere Chick, Oily House, Tomie.
No, I didn't get into the Tomiya series yet. I'm talking strictly Uzumaki.
Oh,
There was one story that made me just pause for a bit to ponder what I just read and what I just saw.
the one where the bully and his victim got a little too well after they became snails.
No, not that one. That one was kind of screwed up.
Yeah, it was.
I'm trying to remember. There was one that really made me just quit for a while and then come back to complete it, which was still sad. That final story at the end, that final shot at the end, Jesus. Especially what happens to the main protagonists. It's like, oh Lord, that sucked.
Yeah, it did.
I think it probably was the one with the where the mothers were vampires trying to nurse their young. I think that's the one.
Oh,
Pause for a minute. Not for a minute, it's like pause for a week. If you don't know, Leia, I'll explain it to you. It's it's basically the Twilight Zone, but way more fucked up.
Really?
It's as if the Twilight Zone and Twin Peaks had a baby that came out Japanese somehow, because Japanese is very Japanese.
if I remember Junji Ito's creative process, he'd take something you find ordinary and see what could be scary out of it.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, the reason why I say it's Twilight Zone because of the anthology nature of the book. It does, like, it's centered around two characters, but the stories in the horror is always separate chapters within each book volume. So sometimes it's experienced through the eyes of our main characters. Sometimes it's experienced through the eyes of the victims of each chapter. And I say Twin Peaks because where shit is happening in one location, basically the town, the village. Forgot the name of the village too. It's been a long time. I only read those volumes once. What about you, Final?
On what part?
Did you read any Junji Ito?
I've only heard of Junji Ito. I've seen his art.
You need to read at least one Junji Ito if you want to write any horror specifically in some parts of your stories. At least at least go to him if you want to write short. If you really want at least a good reference for writing short stories, definitely Junji Ito.
Okay, then.
Mind you, again, just keep in mind his
Yeah.
body horror stuff is insane.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. Is it's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'd rather just like, I know it's supposed to be the point of horror, but I think that's a bit too much for me with that. Because again, I've only seen Junji Ito's art, and I think there was
Oh,
more
you
than a
would
few,
read rather than look at the art.
and I think there was also an anime adaptation of few of his works.
Well,
They were a
there,
little goofy.
well, there is a live adaptation of Tomoe. Actually, that's floating around,
Oh, that's going to
and
be interesting.
and there's also a live adaptation of one of his Uzumaki stories, centered around the spiral hair girl. I do recall that going around somewhere in the internet. The one story that got me was the tree sap story. Jesus,
I remember the oily house story.
that one was insane. That one was definitely insane. But the tree sap one was just. I think that was the one that made me quit Ito for a while. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fuck with Ito for a while. Just leave him alone. Because I'm afraid that something bad might happen to me off screen somewhere. So that's something you just gotta make sure to not do is consume his stuff in one setting all at once every day, binging it. Don't do that. Just the same. That's like I'll advise anybody the same when it comes down to H.P. Lovecraft stuff. Don't go reading his stuff or else you go insane. Unless you want to go insane, be my guest. But no, yeah, the one I definitely want to read is Hanging Balloons.
No, that's definitely it's a work that from Ito that is worth reading. Yeah, I gotta say, besides Spiral, probably one of my favorite works from Ito would have to be Tomie.
Tomie is fucked up, big time.
It really is.
Bro, I'm at the point where I believe Tomie is his outlet to shit on an ex-girlfriend he had. Because 13 fucking same broad, and basically it's just revenge porn and mutilation porn on her ass. It's like some bitch hurt your feelings, didn't she?
Well, there's also an account, what type of monster Tomie is because she started out as a human before she became a yokai.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the creepiest one is the killer kid.
Oh yeah.
Either way, I have two possible theories on his ass. Either he got dumped real hard, or he was in an abusive relationship, and he's just using Tomie as an outlet to vent his frustration on that broad. One of those.
That's one of those. Yeah,
he was going through some shit when he wrote Tomie, because your best work usually comes from the darkest reaches of your soul.
Yet that's the thing about Ito Sensei is he is known for writing fantasy as well as dark fantasy and horror. He's actually, when you really look into him, he's actually a very chill and down earth dude. Like he's actually pleasant to be around. Whereas with whereas Hayao Miyazaki, he shown to be a rather to be a cynical bastard.
Hmm.
The irony of that.
I know, right? Whereas Ito, like he is very optimistic, a complete
Hmm.
antithesis of Miyazaki.
I mean, say what you
That's
will.
what.
He did. I, I'm always of the opinion sometimes that there are people out there that are self-aware of their faults, and they try their best to advise people against to repeat the same faults that they had.
Right.
That opinion sometimes that some even people can be at their worst, can turn over a new leaf, or at least
Hmm.
like ref, can easily reflect on those bad instances of self and try their best to advise the next generation to not to make the same mistakes as they did.
Hmm.
I'm of that notion. You know, I mean,
Yeah, we hear that.
you do have some scumbags, but then there's bad people that want that do their best to be good too.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, those guys like deserve to be acknowledged. I was like not just like the ones who are not only talk the talk but walk the walk.
Hmm. Who has never really found a way to express themselves positively towards others, but just do it in such a way that they only know how. But like I said, that's a whole different topic.
Hmm.
Sounds emotionally constipated.
True.
That's true. Yeah, I say like well, one of my favorite works from Ito would have to be his adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Lovecraft stories because you can tell that he has a respect for the two aforementioned authors.
Let's put a pin on that. Leia, any more books you want to talk about? Any more storytelling you want to talk about?
Oh dear. I honestly have to be honest. I haven't. I'm going to be honest here. Even though I love books, I love to read. I haven't read a very good book in quite a while. Um,
Really?
Really?
yes, I've got to be very honest about that. I'm always looking for a good book or novel, but I just haven't read anything that has caught my attention in the last decade or so. Maybe not having the time or just not checking it regularly like I used to. I haven't really, went out, found something that really has grappled my attention. It doesn't mean I've never stopped looking. And then, of course, after Anne Rice passing away, I know she wrote a couple of more novels. You know, she wrote Prince Lestat. That was like her last one she wrote before she passed away. So I guess I would say that's the most recent close one that I've
Girl,
read, and that's
so
one.
horny for Lestat.
Hmm?
So that lady could never hide the fact that she was horny for Lestat.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, she admitted it, Wolf. She didn't lie. Lestat was her favorite character to write. She didn't hide that. That you're right about that.
But she got a body pillow of him somewhere stashed in her
Oh, good lord.
commission.
I've been
Yeah.
enjoying Behold Humanity by
Same
Ralt.
here.
Hey, nice. Yeah, well, I've been meaning to like let's read well book one of Behold Humanity by Mr. Bloodthorn in its entirety. Like, but I've been busy reading book three. Well, I mean, well, no, I've been reading book three
Of what? You cut off, Dom. Of what? Dom, you cut off.
Give it time.
Oh, god damn it, StreamYard.
Oh, it's been funky. Oh, that thing can be so crazy. He'll be back. If he does, we'll tell him to. I don't know. Does he know that he's cut off?
No, because
Speaking of something like that, check out the TTRPG Lamentations of the Flame Princess. If anyone wanted something fun and watching something slowly get corrupt a little bit, the greatest real estate developer is a manhwa, and the faces in it are amazing.
I do remember getting a hand on this one Choose Your Adventure Star Wars book and reading through that like it was a regular book, not knowing what the other stuff was about. Until I realized it was a Choose Your Own Adventure book. I was like,
The one that says turn to this page for choice 1 and this page for choice 2.
Oh, I loved those back in the day. Yeah, I forgot. I used to buy those all the time. I love those. Those were fun. You could put yourself in the story.
I think it also required something else that was missing. Otherwise, it had other options, like 3 options. I guess it was a manual for a dungeon master to read. I don't know.
I remembered, I think when I read World's Pathok eating ice cream cone, the part that made it funny is ice cream was crack to those mantids. And I know the part where the praying mantis is like, I'm sexy, it just reminded me, praying mantises do those mating dances when they want to attract mates.
And lose their heads.
That too. So imagining this human-sized praying mantis at just chugging Haagen-Dazs and trying to twerk like one of those sparkle muffin spiders was stuck in my head for a while.
Well, I came back. I came back into that.
Yay! So, where you were at? Book 3 of what?
As I was saying before StreamYard started messing with me and kicked me out. I'm still reading book 3 of the Dresden Files from Jim Butcher, Great Peril.
Yay! That series is great.
Oh yeah, it remains as one of the best works, and not just urban fantasy, but also in the mystery genre as well. Because you can tell with Mr. Butcher, he loves not just fantasy, but also mystery classics as well. And with Mr. Harry Dresden, he's pretty much like John Constantine, but he's not a cynic like Constantine. No, he has a dry sense of humor, and he also has a strong sense of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, he does a good job in incorporating real world history and mythology, in the world of the Dresden Files. Also, regarding the various monsters.
Necromancy T-Rex.
Yes, that and also the different types of vampires and werewolves, which is actually accurate to real world history and folklore regarding the different types of vampires and werbeasts.
True.
Also, he's actually when beings or otherwise are related to the different religions across the world. Well, he he did his research and made sure like they each were treated with respect.
Have you gotten to the part with the poker player yet?
I know of it, but I'm not there yet.
Okay, no spoilers then.
Well, I will say, like for the Dresden Files, so it not only one of the most longest running of his works, but it even had the opportunity to be adapted into a full comic book series start off as that was a comic series, but it works best if they're adapted as a graphic novel.
Hmm.
And so far, for like the rest of the Dresden Files have not been adapted into graphic novels. Only the first two. Well, also the prequel, before Stormfront, Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, there's a comic book version of that one.
Oh yeah, and Brett Booth was the best artist to serve as as the artist for doing the comic book adaptation. Well, doing the interiors for the comic book adaptation like of the first two Dresden Files.
I used to like Brett Booth's artwork. I think I lost interest in it.
Really, because he still got it after all these years. Like he hasn't lost his touch.
I think a question of whether he got it or not just started to look less appealing over time.
That's it. Oh, that's interesting. But we could like touch on that when we cover the art side of this equation, because this is actually a nice transition to illustrated novels.
I mean, we're talking about illustrated novels a lot throughout this whole stream.
I've been okay. I'll confess, I've been reading a lot of Pulp Fiction by listening to audiobooks.
Hey, they count.
Bad thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Solomon
that's not bad at all.
Kane, Conan. There's a whole radio show based on Conan. Let's see. There's also
That's so far for like throughout the decades. Really, they hasn't been like any more adaptations of Howard's like other works and characters. Besides Conan the Barbarian and Solomon Kane.
there is also
And-
a lot of private detectives. Pinkerton, Nero Wolfe, who is literally
Hey.
just a big fat guy who solves mysteries from his office, and his assistant does all the legwork.
Well, let me take here's another way to describe Nero. Think of House. House, if he's a detective. It's just in terms of personality.
I think House at least remembered to pay bills, but I was pretty sad when he and Cuddy weren't together anymore. Their relationship was kind of wholesome.
I agree, and but adding on to that, it's honestly a crying shame that the Nero Wolf books are not being printed as much as they should be.
You can still find the CBS radio plays on YouTube.
I'd say besides Nero Wolf, like Hercule Poirot is another detective that people still talk about besides Holmes.
Oh yeah, Hercule Poirot is really good. And the Adrian Monk series had also a series of books, and they're amazing.
Ooh, Monk, yeah, that'd be a
It's-
one.
And the scariest thing in that book is he has a prescription that he can take that just flips into be the exact opposite of his usual personality. Because let's see, for example, at one time he was on a plane, he took those magic pills, and he got all the passengers to read a German Playboy bunny magazine.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, you're right, William. Well, like the AE channel, like did create a TV show for Nero Wolf. I remember catching it a few times.
Fusion American and European detective, with Nero being the European detective and assistant, the American detective. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Not wrong.
And there is a Robert E. Howard Western storyline where Robert's main character, German suplexes a vampire.
Yeah, he did create some occult detectives. It was like for his works. No, not to mention, and like they are connected like to Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. What is missing in most of today's books and like how they approach storytelling is the respect and appreciation of not just like the genres that have endured since like time immemorial, but also the tropes and archetypes surrounding them. Because what we've been like encountering for a good long while, are creators who think they are better like than the tropes and archetypes, or they see them as passe.
Well, most of it is, back in the 2000s, there was this huge trend of trying to avoid cliches like the plague, instead of like Raltz's approach to tropes better. They are not a cliche or something to avoid. They are just another tool in your arsenal.
And him and other authors like of old are not wrong. And even like TVtropes.org before they lost their mind and gave in to censorship and political correctness, they even like said it themselves. And there's a page dedicated to it.
Yeah. In fact, it feels like it's just written by... I keep thinking that it feels like it's written by someone who's like a real life equivalent of the comic book guy. It's like, that's real original. Worst cliche ever.
Yeah, and I really, well, this trend of somehow like avoiding the tropes and archetypes that made the genres what they are, or subverting them without even putting the effort of constructing them. It did start from like the bad apples like of our generation, which continued on like through Zoomers and through members of Gen Z and Alpha.
I think
No,
I think the craziest one is when they did the video game Dispatch and they played him straight. Most of them thought there was going to be a surprise plot twist villain.
but there wasn't. And
No, there really wasn't.
And people have been craving for a return to form, not just in our culture, but really in storytelling. Like, cause
Although the dialogue left much to be desired, cause what the hell was this? Cause I mean, it's made by Critical Role, or it's in collaboration with Critical Role, hence the dialogue.
collaboration. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
make it.
Yeah, because it was going to be a Critical Role show, and because I've even been seeing this within a lot of the modern tabletop RPGs, where they've been trying to be more like more like a big like festival of like the biggest I'm not sure how to describe this, where they're basically just trying to be more like, trying to appeal to nerds, because this was somewhere by that time when D&D 5th edition came out, and nerd culture was now becoming a big fashion trend, and they look at this more like as a something like D&D or any other tabletops or anything else really that has associated with nerd culture or nerdcore. They treat that as more so as an accessory instead of something like as more of a hobby, or that they conflate hobby with an accessory. And so then they tried to try to insert a lot of like the modern slang into a lot of the works that they are in right now, or like that they are in within the setting in any given moment, and try to put a lot of their bullshit in it, which comes off as just like, what? Like,
What? It doesn't work in not just like their own original work, but really in any work, regardless of the genre that you're in.
yeah.
You know, like it not only like falls flat on their faces, but it'll cause them to age like spoiled milk. I mean, heck, you know, like Mark Miller, you know, like after he was scared straight right by Zack Snyder's like Man of Steel, still like he experienced a return to form well, with his like storytelling approach. Well, like in his like later careers where he started writing hopeful and uplifting stories again as he did from his younger years. You know, starting with Starlight, but it was actually even seen in Superior, like where there is a Superman. There is like a Superman type character, but if you read the story, it actually is more of Captain Marvel because the kid like who is the main character, he becomes like the hero that he loves, and in his later works, whereas I've seen a nightclub, the ambassadors, and eventually it all culminates to Big Game, which is like the major event in this Miller world. He is essentially like taking jabs at the modern trends and storytelling and how they're really not only done more harm than good, but like it's not gonna get these creators by because he shows them why these tropes and archetypes like endure for so long and that people crave like classic heroes and villains and good versus evil.
I think the part that really made this story work for a lot of them, especially in like the Telltale games, is you actually got a chance to choose to be the good guy. And yeah, the thing is kind of like your choose your own adventure story, and dialogue could be corny, but some of the plot twists were actually a little fun.
Yeah, they were. And like even that's also like there's like while there is like meta humor, you know, like in Dispatch, it was like it wasn't cringe inducing.
It wasn't
Are you sure
not
about
complete,
it
not complete,
can
not
be
complete.
a bit cringe.
Not like I said, like it completely. While it was cringe inducing in areas, like it didn't take people out of the game. Yeah, but for others that does like meta humor or otherwise, or it's like they're able to do so like in a way that is actually enriches the narrative instead of damaging it. Because those that try to pretty much like copy probably Wes Craven's like screen formula, like it's been hit or miss. Most of the time, they've been misses because they missed the point of what made like the meta commentary and narrative like work in Scream in the first place. Because like because with Scream, like it not only like gave the slasher subgenre of horror the shot in the arm that it needed, because it was like there in its tracks like for a while. Well, what it showcased is like what is that you can do like new creative choices within that subgenre of horror and the like, and like by showcasing why they work in the first place. In other words, other words, like you're not reinventing the wheel. You're building a new car with that same wheel.
Yeah, and that's always been the thing when it comes to like stories generally, like especially with now, where the modern storytelling is just like trying to take away anything that has a structure to it, like how much the archetypes do have a structure to it, like they have a very specific pattern, and the story itself is a pattern. They're trying to like subvert that. It's like trying to go down. It's like when you're driving in a car and you're going down in one lane, and then you turn your turn signal on to the right, only to just go left and you make the wrong turn, but then only to just like go back later.
Kind of like Tex Avery with the lady giving hand signals.
Yeah, it's like there's a reason why the stories are the same. Not saying they're like entirely the same, but this is what keeps us sane. Cause the reason why we had all the plot structures follow the same pattern and why genres have very specific elements and why we like them so much is for that reason. They're there for a reason. We like the stuff.
Gotta
Well,
have a
also like
balance.
you can't, and again like you can't also like because like these plot beats of these like occur time and time again. Like it doesn't mean like all of them are the same. There's variety within those genres as you tell those stories.
Yes. And yet, these guys always like to say, oh, but let's focus on the collective, like, destroy that, focus on the collective rather than the individual, which literally defeats the entire point of a story, let alone the point of having a protagonist, someone who we're supposed to identify as.
Well, what I'll say, what does need to be what does need to be keep in mind is that a protagonist doesn't always equate to a heroic character, which is something that was starting to become lost as time went on, because protagonists and heroes and villains and heroes were starting to use interchangeably, even though there is a distinct difference like between the terms.
Yeah, and
Because like for instance, like what is this? While you may have a protagonist, kind like in your work, however, that protagonist isn't really a good isn't a hero.
yeah,
Hero like you may
actually,
have
like, correction,
a villain protagonist.
yeah, because actually, correction, what I said, like defeating the whole point of a protagonist, which is the one character we're supposed to follow in a story, who serves as our eyes,
It can work
kind
with
of
multiple.
defeats. Go on, Wolf.
It can work with multiple characters. It's just the fact that they over prioritize the least interesting characters and trying to make them
Yep.
interesting.
What
At
about
least
tone
some
and
of the
mood?
Oh yeah, yeah. But there, yeah. With most of today's works, or like the tone and mood, like doesn't match with what they're trying to convey.
or as I said before, the ones that they identify with entirely are the ones that make themselves inserts out of. You got the main characters that kind of look like them, but what they really are the ones that are in the background because. Jeez, I should have been a psychology major. Now I'm thinking about as I'm thinking as I'm explaining this.
I mean, if you essentially if you have your hero or protagonist like the most likable person
How do
like
you
in the world,
how do
like
how do
you'll
you
find your
describe the character that they most identify with, or at least the character they like to be instead? It's not the one that they plaster onto the cover.
nope.
No, that's the character that they would like to be instead, while they're the character hanging out in the background.
Yep.
I
That's why the character, the poster character, is the one that's really unapologetically punching dudes without proper provocation.
what books are you guys reading to find these things?
Oh, it's mostly shows. It's not really books.
Well, these
No, just give you an
no,
example
Wolf, like your point stands because like you do encounter them in literature as well.
well, I'm saying modern in air quotes by the way, but to really get inside the minefield that is their head and where to really identify them because they do exist. They've existed long before this whole catastrophe began. Make no mistake, guys. They were that kid that sat all alone on the table with that resting bitch face stare.
Sit
And
all
they
alone
had
at
no
a
sense of fashion
table.
and they also didn't have no sense of fashion either. And glom onto they would glom onto to the characters that not many people talk about
Mm-hmm.
or worse, like um, some of them identified a lot with Luna Lovegood. At least they like to think that they're Luna Lovegood. The thing is with Luna Lovegood and what made her work was the fact that even though she wasn't the main character, she could have been a main character. Is she?
Hmm.
Did he go out for a second?
Oh, crap.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Well, StreamYard is acting funky again. It has its days. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, let's. Well, our fielders lead goes and take care of that. At that point, Luna Lovegood, like she is like is a memorable character,
Okay, now
and
Wolf's back.
she works fine, well, like as a supporting character.
Hmm.
What was the last
I'm
movie?
Well, you were talking about Luna Lovegood and what makes her work as a character in the Harry Potter series.
Made, what made her work was the fact that she could have been a main character if she was allowed to be. There was a lot of things going on with her that could have easily connected to Harry. They could have really,
Yep.
in fact, he could have easily ditched both Ron and Hermione just to go with her and go on some weird adventures. But they chose not to do that, and that's what kept her interesting. She is the little definition of Mag Pixie Dream Girl that doesn't even have the Pixie Girl hair style.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst thing that the movie did was just make her look adorable and later on attractive.
Well, well, that's not to say she was unattractive, like in the source material.
No, she wasn't, but the way how they're supposed to be acting around her in the movies suggests that she's supposed to be unattractive, which is hard to even believe.
That backfired big time.
Just like any other movie that supposedly any depiction of a character that's supposed to once you read it, it's supposed to say that it's supposed to suggest that this character is unattractive in some ways, and yet they doll them up in the movie adaptation, like Mortal Engines, for example. That character is supposed to be ghastly mutilated at the face, and yet only thing she has is just this badass looking scar on her cheek.
Yep.
She literally has no nose, and almost a from, from what depictions that they did of her, also have a cleft lip
Hmm.
from a scar injury, and yet in the movie she's got that dinky looking scar on her face, and yet she's wearing a mask over her face as if it's supposed. It's as if she's supposed to hide how horrifying she looks.
Kind of
At
like
that
that
point, you
one
might as well call it a
scene.
style look.
Kind of like that one scene in Twilight.
What about Twilight?
When they have Edward stand out in the sun and he's like, "Don't go after me, I am dangerous." And he steps out into the sun to show her, and it's like,
I know what she was trying what she was trying to go for with that. No normal human being is supposed to glare like that in the
and it's
sun.
supposed to be like their skin was hard as diamonds.
What I'm saying is, it's supposed to make them look unnatural. You know, you're not a person like that should not exist. That's supposed to be
If
scary.
she wanted to make him look unnatural, you could basically said his skin was made out of extra shiny, tiny teeth.
Nah, it wouldn't have worked either.
But then it would probably take some of the romance out of it because shark skin is made out of tiny teeth and it feels like sandpaper.
No, my thing is, it still wouldn't have worked. Because then, how she's not cutting herself every time they interact, like touch each other and the like. What's that bedroom gonna look like?
Well, with her writing skills, it wouldn't have worked out anyway. Stephanie Myers is not a very good writer.
Well, I can't even think of any way what I would have done instead for that scene. And if I can't do that, then she should have done the one thing that's the she should have did the practical thing and just write it out. Just remove it.
Yeah, I would have just took that out. If you want to show us a naturalness, you just go with the pale skin, maybe paler than usual, or maybe in the moonlight it has a
Again,
ghostly, eerie glow than an average person. You could have went with something
again,
like that
wouldn't
that
have
glitter
worked
like diamonds.
because
in the sky.
we're far too desensitized towards stuff like that.
The one time she did get the danger part right was when Edward was basically having to use Bella to heal himself, and he was taking a bit too much. It kind of like hogging the human water fountain. It's like, hey, dude,
I
that's
got
enough. Stop.
I got it. I got what I would have done. In the sunlight, make his skin look piss yellow. Or at least banana yellow. A sort of sickly yellow. Like he's got,
Jonas yellow.
or malaria.
Mm.
6-pack abs and the complexion of Mountain Dew.
Guys just going around looking like a Simpsons character in the sunlight.
Yeah, that's what I was going with.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
It'd be better than glitter.
I mean, that's not wrong.
Yeah, then that'd just be funny then.
No, if you add in the excessive veins and a little hue of green in some areas where his organs will be, it'd be like a sort of semi-translucent skin underneath the sun.
which would actually make him inhuman.
But it would have kind of like a piss yellow sort of banana yellow tint to it. I would have made it work because all you gotta do is play around with the tint, the amount of tint it would be.
So you want him to look kind of cadaverous with almost translucent skin.
Yeah. It worked in oh, it worked in Return of the Living Dead.
Great, so now Twilight's a body horror story.
Well, but none of the Living Dead, those are zombies. That's a wholly different thing.
Yeah, that's what it would look like.
Yeah, that would be too cool.
That one embalmed zombie.
Mm,
And what's
And a
so
bomb zombie, but he will still be recognizable as a vampire.
and what would be so wrong with body horror final, considering the fact that Breaking Dawn had Kristen Stewart look like a damn ghastly ghoul.
Not to mention her going through an accelerated pregnancy where the kid is literally draining her from the inside.
I'm just mad that movie chickened the fuck out.
Yeah, it really did.
You don't know what I'm talking about. There's a supposedly in the book, she's supposed to be looking like a fucking ripped open corpse.
And the movie didn't commit to the bid.
Nah, not until that end. Once after he extracted the baby from her, she's supposed to look fucking horrifying. You're supposed to look away. I didn't see none of that in that final part. It's like motherfucker. I was hoping to see the bitch's fucking stomach wide open, all bloody and shit. They like from what I gather from people who read the book, they didn't even bother to clean the bitch up that much. In the movie, it's like they took time to wash her, to wash her hair, do her hair, doll her up before she went into the full doll up transformation. Like y'all spared no expense on cleaning this broad up. Like what the fuck? Which is funny because even in the book after her transformation, she's pristine clean. Even her open stomach healed the fuck up, no scar.
As if it never happened.
Which also betrays her writing the rules of how her so-called vampires work. Speaking of characters that could easily have been a main character, Jasper.
Yeah, well, that's another. That is one of the emblematic issues that is plaguing writing today.
Jasper is cool, even though he was a poorly written character himself too.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, his whole backstory rings to me as forced constructed. I'll tell you why. This motherfucker went through centuries of torture and torment, went and freed slaves, went and fought the Civil War. I'm like, can we make this motherfucker any more generically heroic? Because it completely contrasts his character that you meet him in the first book all across the other books. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, he has a problem controlling his hunger. And yeah, he's got the most generic heroic backstory ever. Make that make sense. Well,
Please,
He's
Maya.
basically Goku.
the thing is, well, he's supposed to be flawed though. I don't give a fuck. He's supposed to have. If there's any fucking flaws, that should have been in between his fucking backstories in parts.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that shit. So you mean to tell me he stayed off hurting humans for that fucking long? I don't buy it. And you expect me to believe that one drop of blood sets this motherfucker off into kill mode? It's like over the fucking years of saving human life, this motherfucker should have a better handle on his Pharaoh side. It should be Edward that should have that fucking problem, not him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jasper, next to Imp, I don't even know why I'm so intimately known about these fucking characters. It's fucking hilarious. But comparatively to Emmett and Jasper, Emmett is the eldest, by the way. Next to what's that one broad's name? Wait, ain't Alice supposed to be the eldest, even though she's kind of petite?
She's supposed to be the eldest.
I'm saying eldest as in who got turned first. For those who don't know, for those in the back, I think Alice is supposed to be the eldest, even though she looks the youngest. Her and Jasper. Regardless, you would think they would act more mature for vampires of their age.
And yet they weren't well written as such in the source material or in the adaptation.
It's like again, all respect to Meyer for her contribution to literature. She made money off of it.
She did.
Speaking as a capitalist, there ain't nothing wrong with her profiting off of bad writing. Not entirely. It's like she has my respect on that front. She made money. At least she did. The one thing I will say is she did not scam people.
She didn't. Even though
Now E.L. James, I wouldn't say she scammed people, but my God, the method how she made her fucking money is kind of dubious. It's a fucking Twilight fanfic that she just renamed the characters on. It's still the same fucking story. Only difference is that the difference is that Christian Grey is not a vampire. I'm just like,
yeah.
The bitch rewrote her fucking fan fiction and she got
And
paid for it.
And turned it into 50 Shades of Grey.
And got paid for it. And got a 3-movie deal out of that shit.
Which really shocked me when I first heard about it.
I'm like, that means I can just take my. It's like if it's that fucking easy to make money off of my fucking books, I should have just taken my damn fucking Resident Evil fan fiction and turned that into a fucking book that I used to write back in fucking high school.
Oh yeah, and that's actually
Coming off the first movie, mind you.
Oh, all right. Well, now that you like bring up like fan works, was like they are like another form of literature because sometimes like when it's written in prose or even in fan comics, because they're actually you'll find some like good to decent ones that like captures the essence like of the source materials like so well they can actually fit into the setting, even if they are say an alternate universe.
I'm gonna throw this out there. If you guys want to watch a really good, a much better written 50 Shades, watch Secretary. with Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. So y'all really want a better written 50 Shades? Watch that one.
Well, if one wanted a really dark story, there's always Watership Down.
I,
Just saying.
I remember reading Watership Down
Hey, you guys.
when I was a kid.
I'm telling you guys right now. I'm telling you guys right now. That bitch ripped off Secretary.
It's a possibility, but we don't know for certain. Or like, without any solid evidence.
No solid else, but I like to believe that bitch stole from Secretary and got rich off of it. Which is also a book adaptation, mind you. There is a book. It's like everything about that damn book, at least everything about that damn movie, pretty much is almost beat for beat Secretary. Only difference is it's so fucking violent compared to Secretary.
And the room they're in is supposed to look like some kind of womb.
Oh lord.
Well, jeez.
See, the thing is, what I liked about Secretary was the fact that they eased you in to the play.
Yeah,
He didn't have a red room or wall of fetish and shit like that. They eased you into it by first smacking her ass, put the saddle on her, and half the shit he did was vanilla compared to what BDSM people would do.
Oh jeez.
So I mean, you guys if you guys are worried about what they do in that movie, that shit is fucking vanilla compared to what half the shit I've seen when it comes down to BDSM people. It's like there's some extreme shit I've seen that I wish I had never seen.
Yet you did.
And only because I was curious.
Yeah, curiosity like does that to people. You know, like even like when they're at their most innocent.
I think I've already exhausted all my 9 lives.
Your 9 lives or all your innocence?
No, just 9 lives. I think I exhausted all that shit. I think I'm down to
Really?
12.
Really? Because I think you got some more lives left.
Nah, I ain't put no Infinity Life cheat code. I've been curious all my fucking life. You would think I've been dead by now. Just curious to a fucking fault, and I'm like, damn. I must not be doing this shit right because I'm down to fucking 1 life left at this point. I should be dead. Not to jinx it or anything, but like my curiosity shit got me into some shit. Well, not really deep shit. But there are times I get into some trouble, and I'm like, oh Lord, how the hell did I survive that? How is my dignity still intact after that?
And hey, at least you're still here.
And how am I not? At the time, I'm like, how the hell I'm not a serial killer at this point? After some shit that I've seen, or at least some things I've witnessed.
You have a strong sense of morality.
I guess so.
Well, what I was saying earlier about fan works, I was like, you'll find some like good to decent ones, like whether they're written in prose or as fan comics that are actually written so well, like they can actually fit into the original source material, even if they are an alternate universe work. However, when on the other side of the coin, when you encounter like so bad it's good fan works to really bad fan works, whereas like they
Mhm.
are very noticeable, and not just in in errors when it comes to spelling and grammar, but really the structural errors in the narrative, as well as like the mischaracterization of characters, errors, and missing the point of what made those works what they are in the first place. And, and moreover, moreover, well, like somehow, how about like bad, these are objectively bad fan works, whereas like of well known and even like underrated materials, somehow, like they're being green lighted like by major studios and publishers.
Yeah, and yet the unfortunate part is, although there is some really good fanfics out there, a lot of them, a lot of the bad ones take up the majority of that. So much so that it spawned two bad writing tropes: the Draco and Leather Pants and the Ron the Death Eater one, both coming from the same Harry Potter fanfic, discussing about Hermione's relationship with Ron and not with Draco, despite the fact that Hermione and Draco
Ron
hate each other.
Weasley as Death Eater.
Yeah, mainly because of the writer's unbridled and really unreasonable hatred towards Ron Weasley in the books.
Did you not hear what I said earlier in this stream?
Yeah,
Either they,
sour attitude's a pain in the butt.
what I'm saying is, it usually happens. Sometimes they pair up the dudes because they can't see them with any other girl.
God dang
There's-
those yaoi fangirls, those
And then there-
fujoshis.
And then there's that kind of extreme where they just make the good guy bad unreasonably.
That just doesn't make any sense.
It
It
doesn't.
really doesn't make any sense, and you actually see that being carried over in the source materials.
I mean, you
What
need
is that?
means, motive, and opportunity.
One of these days, I gotta tell you guys about freaking how I became yours. It's an Avatar: The Last Airbender fanfiction comic, and it is hilarious.
Hilariously bad or hilariously good?
Hilariously horrendous.
That type of hilariosity.
I mean, it's between either it is better than what the fuck we got with Legend of Korra, or it's just like it's on the same level, or just it outclasses Legend of Korra
Oh dang!
in writing
Oh,
and
Nice.
character writing mostly.
And of course,
My
the-
lord.
wow. And of course, the sequel comics for Avatar: The Last Airbender didn't do the series any favors. First, because like when you read them, you realize, wait a minute, this really comes off as objectively bad fan works, and yet this is treated as the official canon after The Last Airbender, before Korra.
No, I'm gonna give you guys a rant that really hurt. That's really been on my mind a lot.
okay.
Enlighten us.
It's not even the fact that these stories are canon per se. It's the fact that what they chose to focus on the most. That's also now a central thing within that universe that's now made canon. Like, say for instance, making Kyoshi a lesbian. Even though in the previous Avatar stories, or at least in the previous Avatar series, we all know that a lot of the avatars that were shown to be named have speaking role, to have speech and to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mhm.
many were focused on their relationships or their love affairs per se. And at time and to be honest, I viewed Kiyoshi as I would have viewed what I what my vision what vision I had for Korra if I was writing Legend of Korra was that she was an avatar that really prioritized more to her job than finding love.
A working woman.
hmm Now that's not to say that she stopped. She ever did settle down and have kids, or at least there's not a possibility that she couldn't have kids per
And
se,
found a
right?
man.
And that's what I would have done. It's like there wouldn't be the one. Now the thing is, I don't really mind Kyoshi being lesbian. There's one character that baffled the fuck out of me when they made her lesbian, Yang Chen.
Let me guess. Avatar Yan Chen.
That is impossible to do for the simple reason is she's a fucking monk. Even if she
Mhm.
harbored any lesbian feelings, she would not even find time to have a love affair.
Because you can't do that in a monkhood. If you want to pursue romance and start a family, you actually there's actually a
Now,
process
if
called
it happened
disrobing.
before, if it happened before she took the cloth, I could see that. But no, they have it to where she's pursuing that while she's a monk. I was like, no,
I have
impossible.
the
You're breaking rules and bending rules for your benefit.
which actually which ties into another emblematic issue which plagues not just fan wars, but it got bleed over into literature and comics and so on, is turning head canons into canon, even though like that should not be the case, or it
I just
shouldn't, or
hope
better yet, it shouldn't happen.
I just hope they don't try to take whatever they're doing with the live action series and implementing that into the lore and rewrite the lore that way.
If they did, then the Avatar team will end up burning more bridges than they did with Korra, as well as the sequel comics from Dark Horse.
Because I told you guys already, they made Omashu into gay lovers.
Even though that was never the case in the source material.
Even though that doesn't even make sense with the naming.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
I don't.
plus it fucks up the story too. So you telling me Shu is also a soldier woman? They retold the story, and nowhere in that story did they make her a warrior woman, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really beat for beat what Katara read in the Cave of Lovers, but still, it's like that's just stupid. Like you're not only are you again bending things to your fucking will, but you're also disrespecting the culture that you supposedly be trying to be inclusive to, and that's one issue I want to touch upon one of these days. Something that I want to revisit. So anytime they ever implement themselves into shit like that, they think they can rewrite it from within, ignorant of the fact that if the people that they're trying to fucking rewrite catch wind of that shit, they're gonna kick their fucking asses. And
Yep.
and the reason why they're so confident in what they're doing is because they're not really going to the locations where that culture resides in, because they know if they do that within that culture, they get their asses whipped.
Indeed.
They They're not going to Mexico to convince them to use the Latinx terms because they know the Mexicans will whoop their fucking asses.
The Mexicans, Hispanics, Latinos. I was like immediately when they heard these people are trying to incorporate the Latin X
I
and like
defy
into the language, they immediately rejected it because they saw how stupid it
I
is.
dare their asses to think that they can try to change the language over in Africa. They'll fuck their asses up.
Mm-hmm.
They'll leave Africa missing something. They'll be leaving Africa missing something. They even try to fucking convince them to. You already seen what the prime minister or whoever the fuck that was, that official was. He telling you, we ain't playing with you, motherfuckers. You coming here to do this woke shit. We ain't playing with y'all. We already dealing with our shit here with the warlords. You think what you can say is gonna affect us? No, you gonna be losing something. Coming over here, thinking you gonna fuck with our shit. Shit, we already got our own shit dealing with these fucking warlords. We gotta deal with y'all, you silly motherfuckers. Please.
That sums it up pretty well.
It's like one reason why I wouldn't go to the fucking motherland because they don't play. I could sneeze in it and I'll walk away missing something.
Didn't the one guy that hosted River Monsters almost get due to a missing person in a local tribe? Okay, guy turned out to be fine. The
I'm just saying, you just don't go to Africa thinking that you think you can change how they speak. You just don't. Just
No.
don't.
Yeah, same rule applies when it's to the Japanese. You try to change the language,
You're gonna miss
they'll
something.
beat you up.
You're gonna be missing something. Trust me.
You'll be missing something, or you'll be in the hospital for a while.
Well, in the case of Japan, you're gonna be missing your dignity.
Uh-huh.
They know how to savage your ass politely.
Yeah, not even like without like using martial arts or with a weapon. They'll just take you down with words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if there's anything that you need to keep in mind of when you're visiting any country in the world, you do have to respect the culture. Heck, even if you're visiting the U.S., you respect our U.S. culture, goddammit.
do not be Johnny Somali.
No, never be a Johnny Somali.
It's really
And this ties back into like books and storytelling because like back in the day, when authors and artists are crafting a world that is based on cultures and locations. They actually do the research to see and create parallels, and not an exact representation. But say if you're doing like an alternate history, historical fantasy, or otherwise, I was like you are allowed to do so. Like, even if you're not born and raised, like in that country or culture, yet for some reason, as time went on, you're somehow not allowed to do so because you're not of that demographic. Which, if you ask me, that's bullcrap. Because you're not only like hurting the artist's storytelling, but you're also limiting the artist.
Like what? You're like who's the director that made Goodfellas? Like he's not around. Oh, Martin Scorsese. Duh. Like what? Martin Scorsese was not allowed to make other films focusing on black characters like he did in Goodfellas. Like what? Idiots.
Or the director who made Johnny Miss Daisy. and the remake, which had Morgan Freeman, like it was done really well. Well, because it was respectful to the source material, while also like do also like doing you know, not doing like activities that maybe in the original adaptation they weren't well the original material they weren't able to do at that time. So suddenly telling me or others that the writer and the director can't like write that character as they did as they did because they're not a Black American. Okay, that's not discriminative. I don't know what is.
I'll tell you what it is, though. Stupidity.
We're getting into rant phase. Well, we might as well wrap it up. I gotta go to
Well,
bed.
the point what the point of the matter is, there are still good books out there, no, even like made today. While we certainly can like go back either reread the books that we've grown up as kids, or find books that was like made by authors either here or outside the West like from the past. You can still find objectively good material like today. You It may be like searching for a needle in a haystack. So, like in the alternative independent scene, there are authors who are not drinking the Kool Aid and actually giving people what they want.
Yeah, and the biggest trick in doing so, even when you go back to these older works, one thing to keep in mind of: don't let these losers take all that away from you. Don't let them revision all these things, all this kind of bullcrap with their nonsense. Don't let them take it away from you. Because really, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just complaining for the sake of complaining.
Oh, well, I thank everybody for being here. Those only one of you and those nonsense motherfuckers keep popping in and out. I think next week is gonna be a movie spotlight. Still haven't figured out what movie we're gonna talk about yet. What are we doing next week?
Well, I figure for next other of the real millennials, I was like it can actually just be a chill stream.
But wait, are we
Oh,
doing a Voltron animation spotlight?
I
No,
already
that's
told
wait.
I already told you guys.
It's
I'm
coming up
gonna be
soon.
There was a new short film done by Gorillas that had just come out.
Yeah, I saw that.
I have to look at that, but I don't think they will probably want to talk about that one.
Definitely. If she's not all that familiar with the gorillas.
Well, let's ask her. Are you familiar with the gorillas, Leia?
No, I have no idea what that is. Sorry.
It's an animated 2D cartoon band.
They're almost like Daft Punk do their own kind of music
Exactly.
in the in ways of you don't really know their identity.
And they're anonymous.
I mean, they were on
You
stage
got-
one time, but the only thing you saw was the animation.
And I've checked it out. The music's pretty good. The other reason why I suggested it is it's only 8 minutes long. All 2D animated.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll find an animation worth her attention. We'll just say that for real millennials talk.
Yeah, for
Anyway,
animation.
Look, motherfucker, be silent until I call you.
Good gracious.
I'm already cranky enough, tired of that shit. Dealing with what the hell happened at work today.
Ouchies.
Somebody turned a
Oof.
toilet bowl into a soup bowl this morning.
Somebody
With
tried to
their
do what?
ass.
Okay.
I spent a good 30 minutes cleaning that shit out. Anyways, the Humble Survivors, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty and I write things.
The Hound of the Saldonic Pal.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in tonight's episode of the Room Millennials. Make sure you stay tuned for next week's upcoming animation spotlight, as well as next Thursday's episode of the Room Millennials, where we're most likely going to have it be just a chill stream, continuing with previous topics where we left off, or otherwise. But until then, this is the Hound of the South, Donald Powell signing off. And remember, keep up the good fight of maintaining hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world, because remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. You all have a good rest of your night.
The lovely Leia about Leia Plus Size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leah Plus Size, your lovely letter of valor, and thank you very much for joining us in the discussion about literature. In the comments below, if you would like to leave some of your choices for your favorite novels, books, comic books, graphic novels, any type of stories that you enjoy reading, leave them in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will very much appreciate that. If you know anyone else that still has a love for literature, please like and share this stream with other people. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate that as well. Until then, I wish everybody a good weekend and see you all next time.
The Warrior of Light Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell, that way you get notified of our latest videos. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off. And remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
Did I get humble?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is your
Yep.
Welcome in the Woodland. Remind you guys once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the world.